So a lot of you have written to me after we aired our Cheese 101 episode and said, we love this idea of what's this cheese and keep it going. So I'm super happy that you guys like this. Today we are going to talk about one of the holiest of cheeses, Swiss. Today's sponsor and the sponsor for our What's This Cheese sub-series is Formaticum. You can check them out online at formaticum.com. Formaticum manufactures a specially designed paper that is engineered to maximize the shelf life of cheeses that you buy. Sometimes cheeses are expensive, the good kinds are, and unless you're like me, you're going to wait and not just eat all of the cheese in one sitting. However, if you just put it in saran wrap, it's not going to breathe and it's going to turn rancid very quickly. When you use their paper, it allows the cheese to breathe and it doesn't mold and turn bad in a split second due to the way that the paper is engineered. So next time you buy some great cheese, look for Formaticum in your store or get it online at formaticum.com and allow your investment to last longer and have many more days of delicious cheese eating. Check them out online at formaticum.com. So today we are talking about Swiss cheese. Now, Swiss cheese is easy to find because it's that cheese with the holes in it. Today, Swiss cheese is sort of a broad term that talks about all different varietals of Swiss-style cheese. However, the classic one is called Swiss Emmenthal, and it's generally a little bit yellow, and it's a kind of a medium hard cheese. The holes in Swiss cheese are produced by a rather innovative technique. They hire mice and they shape their mouth into little boring devices, and they basically let them bore their way through all of your, no? The holes in Swiss cheese are actually made by gases, and we'll get to that in a second, but they actually have a name. The lack of something has a name. The hole is called an eye, and if the cheese does not have the holes in it, it can still be a Swiss cheese, but then it is called a blind Swiss cheese. So how do those holes appear? Well, during the cheese making process, you know that there is this separation of curds and whey, and that bacteria is introduced, and it's often the different types of bacteria that are introduced that alters the type of cheese. Well, the bacteria that is introduced into Swiss cheese produces three byproducts. One is called acetate, the other is a propionic compound, and the third is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is what causes the holes in cheese. You see, the cheese is sort of fermenting inside of a rind, and carbon dioxide is being produced. The cheese is under pressure, so that carbon dioxide doesn't get to just escape, and as the cheese hardens, the carbon dioxide bubbles are stuck inside of the cheese, kind of like that toy, Wonder World, from the 90s.
Look, bubbles! Cool!
Wonder World, a magical world in the making.
Said so separately.
But it's much more delicious than the goop that you shouldn't be eating from your Wonder World container. In fact, Swiss cheese is nutty and sweet. It's not very, very sharp. However, there's this rule of thumb with Swiss cheese, which is that the larger the holes, the more potent the taste is actually going to be. So if you go to the grocery store and they don't have anything in the Swiss cheese container, don't buy that. It's going to be so potent you won't even be able to taste it. The original Emmenthal Swiss cheese came from the Em Valley in Switzerland, and today there are certain rules around what can be called Emmenthal cheese. It doesn't have to be made in that region, but there are certain requirements. It has to be aged for 4 months, and it must be made from raw cow's milk. In cooking, Emmenthal is commonly used on top of gratins. It melts really well. People use it for fondue, another one of these beautiful Swiss inventions, cheese and bread. Delicious. I use it just by eating it. I mean, I just consume it straight away, or I cook with it like we'll do today. Today I'm going to take you on a wild ride and teach you about the holiest of cheesy sandwiches, the grilled cheese. I know that sounds pedestrian, but I have some tips and techniques that are going to rock your socks. So let's get started. To make the best grilled cheese sandwich of your life, first add some strips of bacon to a frying pan over low heat. Cook until crispy and let the fat render out. Remove the bacon and add 2 slices of rye bread. Let them toast on one side. During this process, the caraway seeds inside the rye bread are going to bloom in the fat, and the flavor of the rye bread is going to blossom exponentially. While that's happening, shred up your Swiss cheese. It's best to buy a block of cheese and shred it up yourself for the sandwich. The reason is, when you buy cheese that's already shredded in the package, it usually has cornstarch on it, which is a thickening agent and will cause it to be a bit gummy when you're actually eating it. And if you get a single sheet of cheese, the problem there is that it doesn't melt evenly. When you put the shredded cheese on top of the bread, you have these little air pockets in between the cheese. As it heats up, moisture is trapped into those air pockets and it quickly wilts down into this beautiful creamy cheese. Now flip the bread and add the cheese. Now add the bacon, your favorite hot sauce. I'm using sriracha because I love it, and some pickled onions. We've pickled onions before, it's really easy to do. 4 parts water, 2 parts vinegar, 1 part sugar, 1 part salt. Slice red onions, leave it in your fridge overnight, you're done. And wait until the cheese melts. Then close your sandwich, cut it, and enjoy. So that's how you make the best grilled cheese sandwich of your life. Give this a go and wow your friends. I promise you, you are going to slap yourself in the face when you eat this thing. So delicious. Check out our sponsor, formaticum.com, and tune in tomorrow for another What's This Food?